stats, particularly that second half. That was a real story. Just how frustrated are you that somehow the ball didn't go in the back of the net tonight?
Well, that was all that was missing, to be honest. I think we came out with a great attitude, committed, really courageous the way we wanted to play tonight. And unfortunately, we were just looking for that goal, and we probably tripled the amount of opportunities and entries into the box, shots at goal, shots on target, for example. So we've got to be positive, and we're going to continue in this manner. Probably on another day, we probably could have got 1 or 2 to win the game, but unfortunately we didn't. So we're going to keep pushing on.
Feels like, especially again, second game in a row, second half, saw your side really lift. Aziz comes out within minutes, creates a chance, statement of intent.
Yeah, I think we started well as first half as well. We probably had. We got into really good areas. Andreas probably could have had a couple of shots on the edge of the box, which he didn't choose to do, and he chose to make a pass rather than have a shot. Mehmedi had 2 very good chances, or 1 very good chance into the box off a cross, and obviously the shot that keeper saved. So we had quite a lot of good attacking moments also in that first half. So I'm pleased for that and pleased our reaction, because it was a pretty tough week after Perth. So we know we have it in us, and that's the way we need to continue.
Because I guess also in that second half, those Sydney's chances completely dried up. I think it was 11 shots to 1 or something in the second half. Did you change up something, or did you just take even greater control of the contest?
No, look, they were giving us a little bit of problems with Kispe going out into really wide positions, and we just became a little bit more aggressive, and we sort of controlled that a lot better in the second half than we did in the first half. Whether that was, he had less impact, I thought, in that second half. He got on the ball quite a bit in that in those wide areas in that first half, and we really controlled that. I think probably it took about 20 odd minutes in the second half before they had that moment again. So I thought we controlled that pretty well between Nate and Germain on that side.
Of all the shots on goal, was the semi one in the 85th probably one that hurt the most?
No, they all hurt.
But in terms of the most?
Well, no, Mehmedi's and Andreas, and I think that one is a little bit more difficult. I think Sammy was running away rather than attacking. That's from what I remember. I think he was running away from it. So when you're running away from it, he's always going to slice off your forehead. So if he was actually on a better angle and attacking it straight at goal, and then it would have been a different story. But yeah, again, we have to accept it and recover. We got a couple of days break now before we get into another difficult game against Brisbane.
The way Sydney sort of set up defensively, they forced you to take a lot of shots from long range. Do you reckon that was a factor as well in terms of the ability not to, the inability to...
No, but we got, I think, what was it, over 30 entries into the box. That's a fair few, and I think a lot of our shots did come from inside. So they're definitely better defensively this year than they were last. They work very hard. Once they get beaten that front line, and then they're very, very compact and very aggressive. It's no surprise that they've conceded. Well, I think they're one of the teams that conceded the least goals this season. So it's credit to them.
Is it a bit concerning that you got creating a lot of shots, but 6 goals in your last 9 league games in this competition? Is that something that's starting to concern you?
Well, it's a problem, isn't it? So if you're not scoring, but I'd rather be dominating a game like tonight and creating those quality, because they were quality chances. They weren't just fluffy little things. So pleasing that we were able to create quality opportunities tonight. So we got to stay positive. We got to keep working, keep being courageous in those moments, take some risks, and hopefully that turns around.
I think later on you were forced to finish the game with 10 men because Takeshi got hurt. Any indication what he's done?
he said to me that he felt his groin just when he was about to accelerate. So I haven't seen him yet in the change room. And Cavian's got ice around his knee, so that probably doesn't look too good. And it didn't look good when it actually happened. So touch wood, but see what happens.
You talk about you're creating these chances, but they're not falling for you. You do have some experience heads in there, but you've also got a young squad. How do those young players in a run like this, how do you make sure their heads don't drop? Because it can so easily become a self-fulfilling prophecy. We're not scoring, so they don't score. And
Yeah.
so how do you prevent that?
They got to regulate themselves. We can talk about, keeping a cool head and keeping calm, and the next opportunity is going to come. And I think the smart players and the better players are the guys that, even if they do miss, they keep going back in there. I'd be more concerned if, guys were missing a chance, and then when another chance or an opportunity for them to shoot arrives, that they decide to do something different. So the better players are always coming back into the well. They miss a chance, doesn't matter, they get back in again, and they come back in again, and eventually it falls. If you shy away from those moments, then obviously it's not going to happen. But we can talk about it, but they got to regulate themselves.
One player that kept coming back again and again and again tonight was Aziz Behich. It really looked like he was, trying to create something. Just what have you made of his form in the past few weeks?
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. The last couple of games, I was actually happy tonight because he wasn't our most dangerous attacking player. So the last two games, he was our most attacking player, most dangerous attacking player. So tonight we had a lot more of a spread amongst our attacking players. So that was really positive. But he's been incredible. He's had a very good season to date, and he's such a professional that he's one who's just able to just back up time and time again. Doesn't matter if it's 3 days or 2 days or 5 days or 4 days, whatever it is. He's just looking after himself, and at his age, to be playing, to be in that form, it's a true testament of what kind of a person he is and what kind of a professional footballer he is.
Speaking of the attacking chance, I think Madden really, although there was no goal scorer, Madden really sort of stood up to his chance and looked at what he could do in the future.
Yeah, we changed his role a little bit tonight, something he's probably not used to, but I think he did really well. He's strong, he's powerful, he's got a shot like a mule, or kick like a mule, so he's a very dangerous player, and I think he can still believe in himself a little bit more, and I think in time, with more rhythm, more games, I think you're going to see a really nice player there. And to be honest, last year, for the moments that he played and coming off the bench, and I think he scored 4 or 5 goals, probably scored 6 goals. Pedge knows all the stats, I don't. Something like that. He's a goal scorer. Whether he plays as a winger or whether he plays as a 9, he's got the capabilities of scoring goals. So he had those, the shot and the good opportunity in that first half. He's dangerous, and he's got to learn to get better at that. Also, he's got to learn to get better at the defensive side of the game. So, he's still a young kid, 18 years old, so in time, he's going to be very good.
So I think this is the first time in almost 2 years that you guys have gone 4 games without a win. How do you sort of approach the next phase? Because you went through a similar period last year, you ended up winning the title. Do you sort of lean on those sort of experiences?
To be honest, now that you brought it up, thanks very much, but I don't even bother with those sorts of things, those sort of stats, because it's irrelevant. It is what it is. We haven't scored goals, I don't know how many in the last 5 or 6 games, whatever it is. Sometimes, when you make a big song and dance about something, and then it becomes, a bigger problem. And yes, we know that is a bit of an issue, but you know what? It gives me great confidence, and the players should have great confidence in themselves to see that, yes, we are not dead. We are alive. we're truly alive. We have, we're going to have difficult moments, absolutely, coming up. Once Tuesday comes around, then the weekend, and the short turnarounds, and the Champions League in February again, back to back. So we just got to keep it all together. We've got to be hanging in there. You see how tight the league is. Important trying to get 2 or 3 wins in a row. That's going to try to be our key to do that. That'll propel you into a better position. Right now we're sort of floating around 8th or 9th position, and it is still tight, but it just knowing that what our last game was and the way they were able to respond tonight, it tells me that they are in the right frame of mind. Again, they'll be disappointed that we weren't able to get a win tonight, but we should be positive about moving forward.
Mate, took Max out of the starting lineup tonight. Is that just management in a busy period?
I was so upset with him. I was upset with him.
What do you do?
I was upset with him. He hasn't been scoring.
I can't tell what you
Well, Max has had a difficult time, and sometimes just give him a little bit of a break and take the pressure and the stress away from him. It is difficult to be a number 9 anywhere in the world, and you're always going to have periods like we were. Hence my discussions with you guys about just keeping a lid on Max, right? And to be honest with all the young players, because they're young, they're learning the game, they're professionals for the last couple of years. There is always pressure, especially for a number 9, and he did score some goals for us at the beginning of the season, and then he found himself in a bit of a rut, hasn't been scoring goals, but that's absolutely normal. You look at any number 9 in the competition worldwide, that they will hit a purple patch, 3, 4, 5 goals, and then they won't score for 6 weeks. And he's a young kid, he's still learning the game. So what Max gives us also, but his work rate is incredible. So when we're pressing, he's the first one to go. He's doing an enormous amount of work. If he was not doing that work, he probably wouldn't have got the last probably 3 games. So because he's doing that, then you know what? He's working his backside off for the team. And got to a point that we had a discussion with him last week, and of course he was frustrated because he didn't think the service was coming, and I can understand that, but also when the service doesn't come, you've got to do the basics, and he got to a point in the last week or so that he couldn't get the basics right. Keeping the ball, he's getting pushed off the ball, and he's a big boy, and he's still physically developing, so he wasn't able to do that. So it's probably best not to kill him and to give him a little bit of a break, and sometimes you probably having a little bit of break, sitting there and watching, makes you reflect a little bit. But we are absolutely stoked with Max, and we'll always will be, because he's a fantastic person, and he works his backside off. And if you're doing those things, you're working your backside off, you're working for the team, everything is about the team, you've got more chance of playing than not. And his form will turn around, or the goal scoring part of that will certainly turn around.
Was it the concerns for Kavi and Takeshi, but any other injury concerns coming tonight? And Albert wasn't able to back.
You ask me that every weekend after every game, and I always say, no, everything's fine, but and then also, what happens next. So Monday, we'll probably get a bit more of an update.
And Albert?
He's still got some issues with his hamstring. It's bizarre. We had a scan last week, and it was all clear, and he's still got problems. So who knows? Don't know. Hopefully we'll get a bit more information in the next few days. Thank you, guys.